to amend the Federal Deposit Insurance Act with respect to information provided to the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentlelady from Illinois, Mrs. Biggert, and the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Illinois.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and to add extraneous material on this bill.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, at this time I would like to yield to the sponsor of this bill, the gentleman from Michigan, as I always do that, Michigan, Mr. Huizenga, for such time as he may consume.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to my colleague, might not have been the right state, but it was the right pronunciation. That doesn't happen often, so thank you. And Mr. Speaker, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a massive new branch of government created under the Dodd-Frank Act, fails to safeguard proprietary information given to the Bureau by regulated entities. I rise today in support of my bill, H.R. 4014, which will create more peace of mind for financial institutions while offering more oversight and consumer protections to hardworking taxpayers. If you remember one thing, remember this: we all agree on stringent consumer protections. This bill is a common-sense measure that adds necessary oversight to the Bureau. Specifically, H.R. 4014 would immediately close a loophole in the law that was created under the creation of the CFPB. Currently, information collected by the CFPB from financial institutions is not protected by the same confidentiality provisions that other financial regulators are required to provide. Additionally, we must ensure parity between state bank supervisors and other state regulatory agencies that oversee non-banks at the state level and make sure that they are afforded the same protections. We need a real solution to ensure that privileged information will not be intentionally disclosed to any third party. H.R. 4014 would protect that data that depository and non-depository institutions provide during an oversight exam, therefore enhancing the Bureau's supervision process and giving financial institutions the much-needed certainty and the information will be kept private. Unlike current statutes regarding other federal agencies accessing relevant information, the Dodd-Frank Act failed to provide such protections despite the CFPB's claim that they won't or wouldn't share such information. The simple truth is, if we don't pass H.R. 4014, that the CFPB could legally share privileged information with third parties. Absent this specific congressional legislation, the courts have permitted this practice of sharing in the cases of other federal agencies. Although the Bureau has said that they are prepared to take all reasonable and appropriate steps to protect proprietary information, we cannot be sure. Therefore, we must pass this bill to restrict them from doing so. Even President Barack Obama's appointed director of the CFPB, Richard Cordray, recently testified that it was, quote, an oversight and that he would be, quote, supportive of a legislative solution to ensure privileged information is not leaked to third parties through the CFPB. My bill is that real legislative solution. This is a common-sense fix that will put an end to the needless uncertainty and legal costs to both the CFPB and to financial institutions. Mr. Speaker, while I believe this issue must and will eventually be addressed in the Dodd-Frank Act, this is a very important step. I urge swift adoption of this important legislation to restore genuine accountability to the CFPB and for delivering a more efficient and effective government for America's hardworking taxpayers. I look forward to working with my Senate colleagues to see that this omission in the Dodd-Frank Act is quickly rectified and sent to the President for his signature. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back.